Hello again, everyone. It's Mr. Anderson. I'm back with you from Park Center, and today we're going to dive into our third section from the appendix in our CPM Common Core Algebra book, and we're really going to investigate or try to get to the bottom of what the minus sign means. Probably a lot of different ways to interpret it, quite a few different ways to handle it, and we're going to try to, scratch the surface on some of that today. So we'll get started here by reviewing where we're at in our CPM ebook. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got our unit or chapter list, and all the way down at toward the bottom, you're going to see the appendix, and I am just in the third section, so A.1.3. If this navigation is slightly unfamiliar, it will become more familiar, but I can see that right here as well, A.1.3 or A.1.3. I can see what does the minus mean, and again, we've got a goal. Our goal is to look at some algebraic expressions, including variables, and discuss how they can be interpreted using that minus sign, and we're going to use a couple tools for that today. We're going to start, though, with a learning log, and I've got this set up in our notes. I'm going to post it up here, and the learning log prompt is literally, what does that minus sign mean? Okay, and I want you to figure out as many different representations of that as you can. So pause the video in just a moment here, but you should be able to find in our Schoology course a A-23 learning log with a slightly modified post here. And I'm going to ask you to pause the video, respond to that post, and then when you're done and a couple of your classmates have responded, comment on one of their posts, right? Try to give them something substantial back. So like I said, pause the video at any time, go find that post, that discussion forum, excuse me, and we're going to treat that as an assignment, all right? But I'm going to keep on keeping on. I'm not going to say anything more about A-23. I'm just going to look forward to reading your responses and posts. All right, I am going to start with A24, okay? And we start with an expression mat. CPM has this thing called an expression mat. It's nothing fancy. It looks like this. It is a piece of paper with a dashed line down the middle. It's got a big plus sign up here. It's got a big minus sign down here, and we treat these two sides of the expression mat differently. So we've talked about algebra tiles. You've seen me do some goofy things with some algebra tiles, but we've only looked at the positive sides, the non-red sides. Today, we're going to look at how we can represent the minus sides of the algebra tiles. Well, the first thing I want to start with is our book and the website only really contain black, white, and grayscale. Anytime the book shows something like this, where it is in that grayscale, that's considered a positive value. All right? If it is in this unshaded part, it's a negative value. Okay, so check this out. I've got the grayscale here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. That would just be a positive 5. I've got an unshaded part here, 1, 2, 3 of them. It's 3, but it's unshaded, so that's a -3, right? Pay attention to the coloration there. Okay, I've got 3 tiles again. They're shaded, so they're going to be positive, but they're not 3 unit tiles. They're 3x tiles, so that would be considered 3x. All right, keeping on. I've got a y, another y, so that's 2y, but they're unshaded, so that's going to be simply -2y. All right. The minus can also be represented using that expression mat. Now, we are fortunate to have one of these on our algebra tiles. Check this out. I'm going to go and I will click on the algebra tiles. I'll open them up, and you've got quite a few options in here. You can modify the background here. And the only thing I did is I pulled that arrow down and I clicked on expression mat, and it gave me something like this. Instead of a blank background, now I have the expression mat background. Okay, and I can still drag tiles out here just as we were able to before. But here is the power in the expression mat. Okay, we're going to go ahead and treat these things using some special features. Check it out. An expression mat is an organizing tool. We see one on our screen here. Expression mat has the positive region at the top and the negative or opposite, right? Let's key in on that word, opposite region at the bottom. Okay? As we keep on, look at the value in this, right? The value -3 can be expressed by having 3 unshaded tiles at the top, right? They're unshaded, so they're negative, but they're in the positive space, so that is a -3. It can also be expressed by having 3 shaded pieces at the bottom. They're shaded, but they're in the negative space. They're on the negative side of our expression mat. That's also a -3. So there we go. We've got a way that we can represent -3 using same number of tiles, but using tiles 2 different ways. Okay, now here's my challenge to you. Get yourself aligned. I'm going to clear my expression mat. I select this. I go clear tiles. Okay, get yourself aligned with that expression mat. And using this prompt or that idea, I want you to come up with a way, like 2 different ways in part A here, 2 different ways that we can build -2x. And pause the video, try it, and when you're ready, unpause the video to check your answer. All right, I asked you to pause the video. I asked you to try it. How'd you do? Here's one way to represent -2x. I know these things are positive, but check it out. They're in the negative space. Now I'm going to show you a real quick additional method, and it's pretty easy. I'll drag them up here, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Anderson, those are positive. But look, a quick click makes both of them negative. So there's an alternative way to represent -2x. Now this one's a little bit tougher. All right, 3 minus -4. Try to build that, pause the video, try to build it, and then try to figure out if there's another way you could build it. And then try to figure out if there's another way you can build it. Go ahead, give this video a pause. All right, back, time to see how you did. Let's see how you did with the 3x minus -4 on the expression mat. I'm going to show you one way, and then I'll show you a couple other ones, right? Check it out. Up top, 3x. They're positive. They're in the positive space. But then check this out. Here's -4, but how is it clear that I'm taking these away? Yeah, that's right. I'm subtracting. Okay? That's 3x minus -4. Now watch this, ladies and gents, because you maybe didn't have this as your answer. Maybe you went with something slightly different. All right? What happened last time in part A? When we brought those tiles up across that midline in our expression mat, we changed them. And we're going to learn quickly, if you don't have grips on it already, that this is an option for us. When we take algebra tiles and we drag them across the midline of this expression mat, we have the ability to change that sign. Now what's that saying? It's saying that 3x minus -4 is the same thing as 3x plus 4. And some of you guys remember rules from pre-algebra, and you're nodding. You're going, yeah, that checks out. All right. Well, what else could you have had? I can do the exact same thing. I can select all the tiles. I can pull them across that midline as long as I do what? As long as I change all the signs. Huh. So that's the same thing as saying -3x minus -4. All right. Alternatively, I can do it like this. And any of these would have been acceptable. 4 minus -3x. And that works, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in general, we probably like dealing in positives the most, so I would say that's probably the way that you'd write it. But if you didn't, it's not the end of the world. All right? Do a little evaluating. How'd you do? How could you have done things differently? How might you try it again next time? And you're going to have a chance to try again here in a moment. We're going to move on to number 26. I'm only going to walk through 1 or 2 of these with you, and then I'll challenge you to try one again, pausing our video. For all practical purposes, we're going to skip A because that's pretty similar to what we just did. But we're going to use our expression mat, and we're going to find at least 2 ways that we can build B. Now, if you need to, you can pause the video and try this on your own before I try it. But if you need a little help, you can come along with me. We've got y minus 2, but it's wrapped in parentheses, and we want negative y minus 2. So here's my approach. I'm going to take, and I'm going to clear this off, and I'm going to take y, and I'm going to minus 2, or take away 2. And probably the most convenient way for you to see that is going to look like this. That's y minus 2. But it's not negative y minus 2. How in the heck do we do that? Well, we're going to flip the sign on everything. We're going to take the opposite of y minus 2. And as we discussed already, and this is why I pointed out this tool, we can drag that thing across the midline and flip-flop the sign. And we've achieved our goal. Now we have negative y minus 2. And check it out. Oh, I'm sorry. I was not supposed to flip the sign on those. Sorry about that. Nope. No. Shoot. There we go. Negative y minus 2. All right? That's how we get the negative out front. Okay? Try that. Try C. Try D. Give those things a shot. For the sake of the time of our video, I'm not going to post the solutions there, but I am going to show you something very, very cool about 27. Before I do, I'm going to clear this off so I can open up something cool in number 27. All right, represented some expressions in A.26, and again, I encourage you to check those things out. Oops, let me slide the screen up. I'm going to have you check out some of these things in A-27. And like I said, these are pretty neat. They're things that we have some, what's it called? Some liberties with. They're built-in e-tools. So, working with a partner, obviously we don't have that ability. Write the algebraic expressions represented below. Start by building each problem with your algebra tiles. Now here's the nifty thing. See how these are links in your book? I can go to our book and, whoops, wrong tab, and I can click on these things. These are clickable links. All right? So I can find the first one. I can click on it, and now it's built exactly what I see, and I can goof around with these things. All right? So I can write this expression if I like, or maybe I want to change it up a little bit. All right? You have whatever privileges you'd like to have here. Some of us are going to maybe just jump right into A here and say, okay, well, I've got 2 x's, they're positive, so that'll simply be positive 2x. And then I've got 3 units, and those are negative, so that'll be just 2x minus 3. Okay, all right, well, I could do the exact same thing with B here. It's got a y in there. It's going to be a negative y, and so maybe we want to write it like that. And then minus negative 4. Sorry about that. Let me see. You know what? In fact, I want to write this slightly different. I want to write this as yeah, I think I was okay. Negative y, and then I want to put that negative 4 on there. So right. I have to check and make sure that's going to check out and balance for us. Yeah, and it will. Okay? Right? Because the taking away of these things being negative is going to make this positive. And if you need evidence of that, you can flip that up across the sign, the midline. Let's do one more of these things. One more that might be a little bit complicated. We're going to go ahead and tackle something like this in D, and I think that's going to be done effectively using that e-tool. Let me show you what I mean. If I take these things and I bring them up here, okay, some of you guys know what these things make together because this happens. We can get rid of them. There's a little preview of what we're going into next. Write that down. Write that down for your answer. Okay? And when you've got your answer down, folks, go ahead and keep scrolling to the bottom of the page. We've got a little bit of review preview for you here. It's 30 to 34. All right? Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.